everyone, it's Klein, and you're watching another Supernatural review, and this is season 2, episode 19, Folsom Prison Blues. If you're new here, I'm doing like a recap and review of every single episode of Supernatural, so let's get into it. This is such a good episode. This is such a classic episode, and I think I've said before this, like some of the episodes, you know, we've seen this far, we're watching, have been really good, but people kind of forget about it because it's like season 1 or season 2 or whatever. But this is like a classic episode that I feel like you would see on people's like top 20, top 30 list. Like this is a classic episode. I know a lot of other episodes I was saying like are underrated, like people forget, but this is an episode I feel like people remember. And I feel like if you were to go to a Supernatural fan and be like, name the first episode of season 2 that comes to your mind, they would name this episode. Like, I swear to God. Like, I'm trying to think, like, what other episode would people like say that comes to the mind from season 2? I feel like people might say like Heart, or people might say the finale, but like the finale is like an easy way out. This is one of those, this is like classic episode of Supernatural, classic episode of Supernatural. And so I really love all the episodes of Supernatural that have to deal with like them being arrested or jail or whatever. And we already had 2 episodes of season 2 that dealt with this. And this is the third and last time we see it in season 2, but we see it further times in the future. Of course, the monster of the week is a ghost, but I feel like in the end it makes sense. Like, I feel like sometimes I think in Supernatural they have like these really good ideas for episodes, but then when they have to think the monster, sometimes a lot of times the monsters don't fit right, and so like the ghost is kind of easy way out. And it's something like, unless you're like analyzing every episode like me, you don't realize. And the writers are smart because they're like, okay, like people wouldn't realize it, they wouldn't care that much. But because I'm analyzing this, I care a little bit, but it's okay. Like last episode, we saw a ghost on a horror film set, and now we see ghosts in prison. And it's something that they probably like wanted to do, like this cool idea that like they're in prison and they don't have like the resources they have usually, and they have to solve this ghost mystery, I guess. I mean, at first you were really scared because you're like, you actually think they're being arrested for real, but they did it intentionally to get arrested, especially in this particular place, so that they would go to the county jail. And they knew the risk. They knew the risk because they've dealt with the police. They knew that it was scary. I mean, the fact that that special agent was there from the beginning, like that scared them because of, you know, they could actually be going away for real. And they knew that this, because it was the person who called them saying we have this problem at this prison, they knew they had this way out, where it's like they wouldn't have gone into this if they didn't have that way out. And it was something that, you know, it wasn't clear until the end, like the way out. And so it's something that, you know, they're solving this mystery in the back of your head. You're like, how are they gonna get out? But if you watch this episode a few times, like I do, like, you know, you're okay, you're fine with it. I think they came up with this prison idea and wanted to do it, and I feel like it also worked in this season because of what they dealt with the police. So there's like this added element of fear because of what they're dealing with the police. But it's kind of interesting to see them in jail and like see like Dean fight people twice his size and like beat them. I mean, a lot of people don't know, but like one of the guy that Dean was calling Tiny, like that's Jared and Jensen's like real life bodyguard. And I feel like, I don't know like the story of how they like hired him, so I feel like it was obviously, you know, this is season 2, I don't think they need a bodyguard yet, so I think it was probably they met him through this episode. And it's just like something that's funny that Supernatural fans know, is that like their bodyguard was in this episode, but I think this was before he became their bodyguard, unless it wasn't, unless I'm really just wrong. I think there's also just like something like funny, like they're also very funny, and like Dean has a lot of like great lines in this episode. So it's like what technically like makes this episode special. Like you know, it's sometimes it's like it's hard to like put a finger on it. I guess like, I don't know, there's just something special about them being in prison. And then like somewhere, I think it was like season 12 or 13, I don't even remember, they're like arrested again by the FBI, and a lot of people, I know we're comparing this episode in season 2 to that. I think there's just something special about like the episodes that have to do with the police. And like a lot of times, like I feel like shows that like have that, like with superhero shows, and then they're dealing with the police, they don't do it in a tasteful, they don't do it in a right way, but this series does it in such a great way where it's like those episodes are amazing. And I think especially this one, because they're like literally in a prison, like it just makes it like so great. That's why I think like maybe this episode is very classic. I mean, there's no saving the girl element because there's only one girl character, which is the lawyer, which I feel like it makes sense it's a girl just because they have no other female characters this entire episode, I guess. And so like I don't think there's something that's like you need to have like a woman character, but it just kind of makes sense in that way. And then I think they needed someone that would be like a little bit like lighter and nicer, and because in the end she kind of helps the boys and doesn't reveal actually where they are. So I feel like it makes more sense as a female character for that to happen. But yeah, there was no saving the girl element, so that's also why I think this episode is really good. And I don't know, like maybe this episode is a little bit overrated, but I don't know, there's just something so special about it. And I feel like Supernatural sometimes when you can't like really pinpoint why this episode is just special, it's just like a feeling. It's just like a feeling sometimes with Supernatural. But yeah, in the end, they make it out and it's great. And then the next 3 episodes of Supernatural are literally crazy. And it's kind of also crazy that this is the 19th episode. We have 3 episodes left and it hasn't been really too much serialized. Like I feel like at the end of season 1, maybe they realized at the end of season 1 that they were a little bit too serialized, and they know that Supernatural does so well with the episodic. And of course, I guess it's a little serialized with like, you know, showing how they dealt with the police in the past, but it still feels so episodic. It's like an episode on its own. And I think that's why, you know, they were still like, we know we've had a lot of serial episodes in season 2 already. So I think they like have everything like kind of set up, and like, you know, again, like season 2 and season 1, like what they're dealing with is kind of like not too different. It's like still the same monster, same demon they're dealing with. So I feel like that's why they were able to have like more episodic episodes in the end. Like they weren't, I think they had more serial episodes throughout season 2 because they were unsure if they were gonna be able to get there to point A to B, but then I think they realized they were, and so that's why we've seen a little bit more episodic episodes towards the end of season 2. But now we have 3 episodes left in season 2, and I'm trying to think. Obviously, the last 2 episodes are very serialized, but I'm trying to think of the next episode, which is also a really good episode. I don't want to spoil it. We're going to talk about it. I'm so excited. Like, I can't remember if it is serialized or if it's, like, more episodic. Like, you know, even if it is episodic, or even if it's serialized, it will have some episodic tendencies. It's just like I have to figure out exactly what it is when I watch it. But yeah, anyway, that's what we're talking about for Folsom Prison Blues. Really good episode of Supernatural. I think people love this episode, and I do too. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.